Hey guys, welcome back to the Marketing for Tax Professionals podcast. My name is Emily Roman, and this is
Jesse Arroyabe. I said it with not with a Spanish accent today.
okay. Somebody's in Italy or something, or
to
whatever. I don't know.
try something else.
And today we're going to be talking about retention strategies for tax pros. And this is such a cool topic because if it works correctly, it's going to actually increase your bottom line at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
So, Jesse, let's talk about it. What is client retention?
Client retention. I say this a lot to a lot of my tax professionals. Just as it is important to acquire a new customer, you want to make sure that you retain your existing ones, and that is huge, especially in the tax industry.
Okay.
Because word of mouth and referrals carry so much weight.
Yes.
You want to do a good job of making sure that your clients are taken care of, and then you can leverage your existing clients for more clients. And so one of the things that I make sure that I mention, especially for client retention, is you have a predictable revenue stream, right? Like you know how much money you can potentially be making, at least a hypothesis, right? You expect to grow to some degree, but at least have a baseline. Okay, here's what last tax season was like. I expect to improve, but I want to make sure that I get all these clients back.
So in that sense, because I'm thinking about there's like B2C and B2B,
Okay.
right? So in the B2C space, they're only going to be coming back once a year.
Yes, they can.
Maybe.
You can.
Right?
Yeah.
So what kind of retention strategies do you kind of apply there for the people that only come like on a seasonal basis?
So
for the business?
Yeah, so this is key because you want to be able to be in front of them as most you can. And one of those ways is a very simple way. It's a newsletter, right? You want to be able to share at least something weekly or bi-weekly where you're saying, hey, here's some of the updates that are happening in the tax industry. What's happened with you? Has anything changed with you? Have you gotten married? Have you moved? Do you have a kid, right? These are some questions that, as you start to segment your list, right? These are like married couples versus individuals.
Yeah.
You want to be able to kind of speak to those things because they want to know. And if you kind of reinforce yourself as the go-to person for these kind of questions, there'll be more loyalty in that sense. So they'll come back to you, down the road. So that's one.
Yeah. So newsletters on a monthly basis, weekly basis, does it matter how often should you, because you mentioned that they have to be top of mind all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, imagine if you help somebody with their taxes in June.
Yeah.
Okay. And their taxes are done. They don't need an amendment. They don't need any bookkeeping. They're just an individual taxpayer. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to talk to them from then until December?
Yeah.
What does that look like? What does the frequency look
Yeah.
like? What does the timing look like? Right?
Yeah.
You have to think about these things. And I think, it's okay to be in their face through email, maybe once or twice a week. I think that's fine.
Oh, interesting. So that much?
I would say so. I would say just because there's a lot of moving parts within the tax industry. There's a lot of different tax laws that are coming out. And so the more that you're in front of them, you just want to be, when December comes around, that person that says, hey, Jesse's
this
been
is my
in
dude.
inbox.
Yeah.
He's mentioned this, or he's mentioned that. Like now that it's top of mind when tax season comes around, you're going to be that person that they refer to because you've been able to kind of build that rapport and all those talking points throughout the year, which is really important.
Okay, so then let's move into like B2B clients. So how do you approach retention strategies there?
So for B2B, that's an interesting one because obviously you're going to do their taxes, during tax season.
Yeah.
But you can definitely get those on like a monthly retainer, right? Whether if you're doing bookkeeping or if you're doing tax planning or if you're doing, and I know a lot of tax professionals they have like this CFO package, if you will, where they're looking at your numbers and they're not just relying on tax season to help you minimize your taxes, right? It's tax planning strategies that they're starting to introduce. And it really depends on how you position that to those business owners because they need to see the value in it.
So going back to B2C, could there be like some credit repair situation for consumers too that they could probably do?
That's actually a good point because a lot of tax professionals in the off season, they're multi-service to some degree. They'll do credit repair. They'll venture out into a couple other things, but to your point and things that we discussed early on, it's the mindset thing. We're not a seasonal business, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, it's not tax season finished, let's go to credit repair. Let's build all of them simultaneously to some degree, but let's not forget, those tax season clients. But there's a lot of there's definitely a lot of crossover when it comes to credit repair, things that are financial, right? Insurance, right?
Insurance,
Or
real
things
estate,
like life insurance, things like that. So
yeah. I like that. Some of the things that when I think about retention, and just kind of applying some automation into retention strategies is surveys, like sending surveys to customers, like current customers, past customers, or right after you file for them, like how do they feel? And doing this for a variety of reasons. Obviously, number one is to kind of like make sure that you did a good job and see if there are any room for improvement, but also be able to capture case studies and testimonials that you can then use to market those and like publish on social media.
Absolutely. And when you're getting that kind of feedback, right? One thing that's really cool about the Refundo Marketing Mastery program is we automate a lot of that review process. And so if you can imagine, kind of play with me here. Someone comes into your tax office and they get their taxes done, right? And then within the software, you can indicate, okay, this person did their taxes or completed the taxes. We can include an automation that literally 2 hours after you
are done
with that appointment, it sends an email or a text message saying, hey, thank you so much for doing your taxes with us. We hope you enjoyed your experience with us. Can you take a minute to give us a quick review?
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? Now, two things that are beautiful there, right? You're automating the process. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You're leveraging a very important persuasion technique, which is reciprocity, right? I just helped you, come help me.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you're getting this whole bank of reviews that Google is now seeing as an indicator, like, hey, this is a good business. This is a business that people are going to.
Oh, so like a link to the Google reviews.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's
that's
going
dope.
directly to your Google reviews, so that impacts there. And we can add a little piece of code. We can add it to the website so that it updates in real time. So those things are phenomenal. So using, like leveraging tech as best you can when it comes to client retention and things like that.
And the code, so you can put some coding on the back end of the website through our program, obviously, where, like you said, whenever somebody posts a review, it populates.
Automatically populates it on the website.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Like, you don't even have to worry about wasting, like, spending time on communicating that stuff.
No.
But I would also recommend, like, if you have someone that is like raving on you on like Google reviews, call them back. Say, hey, can I record you? Can we do like a little interview on the phone, on Zoom? So that way you can have that video content for social media. Because even if you don't like social media, even if you don't do video, those interviews are super, super powerful if you have them on social. Like, just post 3 of them and let that be your feed on Instagram, and that's it, But like have that because it's really powerful.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of tax pros on here that that've seen a lot of marketing courses or platforms or a software or something new. What's the one thing that they always have on their homepage? 16, 20, 30, 40, 50 testimonial videos.
It's social proof.
It's just the social proof of it all. And people want to be able to see that. How were you able to help somebody in the past? I have the same kind of issue. Here's what we did. Here's that process. And if I feel comfortable with that, hey, that makes sense for me. It's a no-brainer for me.
That's awesome. So we've already covered some technology. We've covered value-added services and education, like, adding other types of services on top of tax. But let's talk about building a community around your brand.
Okay.
And how do you use that to increase retention in your business?
So there's a couple of ways that you can communicate with your customer to make them a little bit more loyal. Now, which is, I think a lot of people do this. But it's
not unsolicited advice, but okay.
No. But something as simple as like a holiday greeting, right?
Okay.
July 4th or Christmas or Thanksgiving or even a birthday reminder. How often do people really do stuff like that?
Yeah.
So again, you're trying to build a loyal following of people that see the value in you, see the value in your authenticity of how you approach them, because right? They're people too. So how can you connect with them on more of an emotional level?
Yeah.
And kind of build off of things like that or strategies around things like that.
I love subscription boxes.
Okay.
They obviously require that you spend some money on that, but like I think it's dope if you create like a subscription box for your business
Yeah.
to like send to clients at a specific threshold,
Yeah.
invite them into Facebook groups,
Yeah.
and then be able to upsell them into like a financial or wealth coaching situation, like let's clear your debt in the next 6 months type of thing, challenge in the Facebook group and things like that, that build community, but also continues to build your thought leadership in
Yeah.
that particular industry.
Yeah, and that's what you want to make sure that you do. I mean, and part of that retention and making sure it's exceptional service.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How are they treated when they first come in?
Yeah.
How many questions did you ask during the interview process when they were doing the tax?
And setting the proper expectations.
And setting the proper
Yeah.
expectations, because some don't. And I'll see, for instance, like, you'll find horror stories where, a taxpayer will come in, do their taxes, they're expected this amount of refund, and when they're looking at the stuff, they got charged like $1,000 for something for
Yeah.
a tax return, and so like it puts a bad taste in their mouth.
Oh
Are they
my
going to
gosh.
share it with their friends? Are they going to talk about that? So be who the people expect you to be, right? A tax professional that cares about the community,
And that follows through.
that wants to make sure that they can help you out, right? And that's the challenge that they want to be able to solve. So think about that as well, like in terms of
Always
building
do
that
good
loyalty.
business. Like you can't go wrong if you do good business.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. Any closing comments on this episode?
Closing comments on this is, yes, make sure that you focus in on client retention, just because it's cheaper than acquiring a new customer.
Yeah, it always is.
Far cheaper, right?
Yeah.
You already have them. It's how can I change the way I talk to them? How can I change the way I show them new content or relate to them, right? Or think about, making sure that they can stick with you.
And if you're offering like new services, like don't be afraid to communicate these things to them. Like, hey, like I'm thinking of offering, I love customer feedback. Like especially if you're about to produce like a new product or a new service, you can always like send an email out to your email list. Like, hey
Yeah.
guys, I'm thinking of launching this thing. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on? I'd love your feedback on
Yeah.
that. And that gives you a lot more validation and more confidence in launching whatever it is that you want to launch, and then take it from there. I know that there is one student in our marketing mastery program that wants to kind of integrate some wealth and financial literacy programs into her business. And one of the best ways for her to actually get that validation, get that confidence, get that boost to actually push you over the edge, because sometimes we are sitting on ideas that we don't execute on because we don't have the confidence, because we're feeling, doubt on ourselves. But how dope would it be if like somebody replies to that to you and says, oh my gosh, like I need this. I would love to learn more. When are you launching? That's the thing that you need to actually, go over the edge and actually jump. So.
And one other thing that I wanted to touch on was kind of a reward program, right?
Yeah.
Specifically when it comes to referrals, right? Because
Referrals,
that
yes.
really focuses on the client's interaction with you and them coming back is like, hey, what's in it for
and
me?
community
right?
too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one thing that we really like to focus in on is a referral stack, right? So it's not just about and make sure that tax professionals understand the value of a referral offer. So if you're doing $25 a referral, that's good. If you're getting to 50, then I'm
listening.
Now I'm listening.
Yeah, because you
listening.
have to make them want to make
Yeah,
to move.
Be an ambassador for you, right?
Yeah,
Like what's gonna incentivize them that way? So think about that. If you're giving $50 away for a referral, right, and you're earning on average $250 to $300, right? That's a simple W-2.
Yeah.
The more complex ones can cost a lot more.
Yeah.
But look at the profit margin there, and now you're getting people to work for you. If that person brings in one, which is really cool about this referral stack thing, because you can say, okay, If you bring me 1 referral, I'll give you $50. Great. If you bring me 5, I'll give you $50 for every referral, and I'll give you a $100 bonus for getting me to 5.
Money.
If you do to 10, I'll give you $50 for every 10, plus I'll give you an extra $200 bonus for reaching the 10 mark, right?
Love that.
So there's a lot of creativity that you can play within a reward or like a loyalty program and kind of amplify your reach that way, because you're leveraging what you have. If you have 500 customers, there's no reason why at the end of you helping them with their taxes that you ask, hey, do you know anybody that can benefit from, especially if it's in a niche? Because if that's a teacher or a dentist,
they
say,
know
hey,
other people.
Do you know other dentists that could take advantage of a lot of things that I know that most tax pros don't know?
Yeah.
Again, you're leveraging that persuasion technique. If you've done your job right at the beginning, they're going to be so willing to want to help you and find, hey, I know these 3 guys. Let me send you their information. Very powerful stuff.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. I'm doing the closing because Emily didn't want to do the closing, but I hope you guys enjoyed a lot of what we were talking about client retention. It's a huge part of your business and things that we want to discuss more moving forward.
And how about the Facebook group?
And the Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. We have a lot of fun.
Okay. Actually, be honest, like we are just starting this Facebook group over, and we already have a couple, like 20 something people in there. So we would love to have you guys join. We'll probably have more by the time you actually watch this video. But we are planning on hosting workshops and some really like
have free guides, resources.
Some really valuable resources.
To the point of like, your expertise when it comes to cold outreach, we can probably do like, hey, what are the like steal our, top 10 hooks for a subject or the beginnings of a cold
There's
reach.
tons. I mean, we already have tons of resources already. So just join our Facebook group. We have, and also follow on social media because we're doing some cool stuff there too. Just do stuff in the description box.
And thank you guys for being part of the journey. Where's the camera? Thank you guys for being part of the journey. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys listening, and we hope that you find this valuable because, again, it's all about making sure you guys understand the different things within this marketing beast of a realm to kind of simplify it and make it manageable and succinct and effective for you. Thank you.
Yeah.